Hello and welcome to the new Fractal model, version 20.6. We're really excited about this Fractal model. Structurally, it's the same, but there are some improvements in both visual and in some of the tools that are included. Thank you so much to everyone using the Fractal model. The Fractal model has been out there for 3 years, and we really appreciate your support. We are going to strive to continue to improve it. Let us know if there are any features that you think could help improve the model. This version of the model has 5 new features. First, we improved the graphics. Second, we have a peak Oxlow calculator. We've also improved our annual Oxlows. A couple new features in the cost. And the coolest thing we've done is put in new chemistries and a different way of doing cost for augmentations. So let's jump in. Here's the new Fractal model. You can see that the dashboard is mainly the same, but we have a new graphic in the bottom right. And it's pretty informative. You can see that there are different colors. It is actually plotting the same data as the graph above. However, it's showing it a little bit differently, whereas the graph above shows different months of the year as different colors. The bottom graph shows average months as it passes through an average year. The orange shows the solar profile. The turquoise is when it's charging, and when it's purple, that's when it's discharging. And then the black is the net effect. Now the black is what the top graph displays, but the bottom one kind of shows when the battery is charging and discharging. A couple of other improvements to the graphics. We now show applications over the lifetime. It'll help you understand the effect of augmentations and also on any sensitivities to escalation rates. The second improvement is our peak Oxlow calculator. This new calculator will give you the sizing for your Oxlow, and it really depends on the type of system you have. If you have a system with HVAC, with active balancing, you're going to have a significant Oxlow. If you have something like a Tesla system that pulls its thermal management directly from the batteries, well, you're going to have a lower Oxlow. You can model a whole spectrum of different Oxlows. And you can also put in different SEER ratings. If we put in a more efficient HVAC, it's going to do two things. It's going to reduce your peak Oxlow. It's also going to affect your annual throughput. We have an improved annual Oxlow calculator. We now have 5 types of Oxlow. We have 2 for HVAC and then 3 house loads. The throughput still depends on how much you cycle the battery. If you're doing spin, it's not going to be very high. If you're doing something like Reg D in PJM, well then this is going to be pretty high. For ambient, you click on this link. It takes you to this website where you go in, you click on 2 tons, go down a little bit more, click on 14 for your SEER, put in your location. I'm going to keep Austin, Texas, and that gives you a cost. Take this cost, $1,414, put that into your calculator, and the Fractal model does the rest. Just make sure it's based on a 2-ton unit for whatever part of the country. You can also in that calculator put in a different retail rate. So it's all adjustable. Just make sure you have the same retail rate between the online calculator and what's in the Fractal model. Well, another new feature on this cost page is that you can choose between costing out your batteries and your inverters based on what you're using at the POI or what we've calculated based on your POI requirements. The difference is when you go out for quotes, you could have some vendors that you say, hey, I need 50 megawatts, 200 megawatt hours. They do the math. Their sizing in the background looks something like this, but they give you a price that's for 50 megawatt, 200 megawatt hour at the POI. If you're a little more sophisticated, you're going to take a look at these battery ratings, and then you're going to get a quote from the vendors based on the nameplate, and you've done the math so that it delivers the 50 megawatt, 200 megawatt hours that you need. The last update to the Fractal model is improved battery page. We have updated the amount of chemistries that are available. We now have a NMC prismatic that might be something like Samsung. We have a custom. You can put in different cycle counts. We have a pouch type NMC, maybe something like LG Chem. We have 2 NCA batteries, maybe something like what Tesla uses. And then we have 3 LFP batteries. And then last, an LTO battery that's very, very robust. Now if we go back to our prismatic, you can see we just have random augmentations here. Not trying to optimize, just trying to show you what we've done. So you put in a bigger number here. well, this number goes up. You can also say, well, I want to follow an observed warranty. This is what the manufacturer might give to you. If you go to something like the NCA, the warranty, if you take these away, it's going to look like this. If I hard code the amount of cycles, unfortunately, because you're going with observed, they're going to keep this warranty because it's both cycle and time based. But you could go to the fractal estimate, and our calculator will show you what might happen since you're doing less cycles. However, this manufacturer might only warrant the purple curve, and your upside is that you could get the black curve. If we go back to a cycle per day and we put in the prismatic again, I'll show you the next feature of the fractal model. As before, if you put in an oversize, well, this oversize, it gets added to your oversize here for your batteries, and it gets included in your cost for enclosure and EPC. Now we've done the augmentations a little bit differently. So if we need to maintain 100% usable, we might come in here and do augmentation. Now we have this table over here where for the cost of an augmentation, you can put in what you think it will cost you for the different components. When you do an augmentation, you have to account for what the battery is going to cost, what the enclosure is going to cost, and how much it's going to take to EPC it. In a situation where maybe beginning of life we build space for future augmentations, then maybe the batteries are only, let's say, 70% of what they are originally. Since we need to build the enclosure, we're going to put a 1 here, meaning that we're going to build it beginning of life. And then because we've already done all that work, later in life, it's not going to be that expensive to put in the batteries. So maybe the EPC as a percent of the original EPC, which is $75,000 per container, well, maybe we spend a lot less than that. The other way to do this is not to oversize beginning of life, not to oversize your enclosure beginning of life. So we will delete this. We will put in cost for the enclosure, and I don't see enclosures getting very much cheaper than this. And then the EPC, you've probably already done some of it, but you're going to incur a lot more EPC costs because you have to do the civil, a lot of the electrical, and then the commissioning. All these costs are proportioned depending on how big your augmentation is. And that goes directly to your cash flow. All right, well, those are the new features of the new Fractal model. Thank you again for using the Fractal model. We want to make it better and better. If you have anyone that you know that could benefit from the Fractal model, love to do a demo for them. And of course, if you need any analysis, please give us a call, send us an email. We would love to help out. Thank you and have a great day.